Hi all, to my fellow designers and partners in the industry, how are you all holding up? It's time to get back to work, and I have something I would like to share about the interior design industry as a whole due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It's time to stand up. Stick around to hear what I have to say. So recently I read from an article and it said something like this: much of the wealth, especially the customer base that a lot of designers serve, has not disappeared. In truth, the affluent would still spend, albeit that they'll be mindful and prudent. Given the current situation, this is not a period of indulgence, and this has something to do with guilt and spending. In the most likely scenario, when individuals spend, they will do so accordingly and carefully. If anything, the market may be clearer and easier for the customers to discern and determine who they want to engage once the landscape clears of businesses that didn't survive this period. So it's important to hang in there, do what it takes to survive, and put out the right message. But of course, that's not all. The clients who are more mindful and prudent this period are trying to justify our costs versus our services. And from this point forward, we need to do so in a meaningful way. Pricing our services is not just determined by what the industry standard is anymore. We need to make clear our value or values to our clients. In reality, this could be easier said than done because the industry is very diverse with many levels of practitioners, from the architects, builders, contractors, designers, and salespeople with different levels of experience, academic training, as well as skill sets. And to mix this all up, the notion that design is seen as an indulgence and something that can be shelved. So the challenge falls onto us to translate to our client the impact of our work versus the money they spend on engaging our services. So just indulge me for a second and allow me to bring up a simple analogy. The free ketchup that you get for the McDonald's takeaway that you've been buying are no longer free. How do you feel about that? So we know in order to produce ketchup, tomatoes need to be harvested from a farm, it needs to be cooked with a bunch of ingredients, it gets further processed and packed into little packets that were designed with graphics and prints. And once it's all done, it gets boxed up and shipped all over the world for our consumption. It sounds like it's a lot of work, doesn't it? So how can anyone expect it to be free? Why hasn't any fast food restaurant started charging you at least 50 cents a pack, since it takes so much work and costs that much money just to get it to you? So we as designers get all worked out about our clients when they don't pay for our work. We tell them we had spent hours upon hours in our school, we went through so many midnight oils, we sat through lectures, and we worked on our ideation, our mood boards, our material boards, 3D renders, as well as our models. We tell ourselves we will not put up with clients who insist on getting free design. Design is not free. We had worked hard for it. But wait, hold on 1 minute. If we look at the work that's put into the design, or even the work that's put into creating a pack of ketchup, they're kind of similar, aren't they? Because in reality, no work is free. That's why ketchup is never free. And all restaurant owners will tell you how much they need to fork out every single month when it comes to paying for condiments that they give freely. And so design is also never free. For business owners who hire interior designers to plan, to CAD, to visualize, to render, to communicate with clients, and many, many more, they will tell you none of that is free because they are salaried and they use legitimate software and hardware, and there are all sorts of costs to maintain. So why then is ketchup or design given freely here? So the norm back then is that it is the business model. Businesses do it to survive, to stand out, to project a certain value to their client, and that is their choice. Business models had always responded accordingly to clients' perception about value. Years ago, businesses started promoting a free item and service to their clients, and then they saw it as a way of winning them over. Over time, this expectation becomes natural from the consumer end as well as the business end. And they all responded by providing it for it, and in doing so, everyone grew accustomed to such a demand. So much so that when you realize that your McNuggets did not came with the curry or the barbecue sauce, everyone gets upset. To me, the proposition of giving freebies as a promotion is not at fault. It becomes an issue when it evolves into an expected norm, something that should be offered without request. When this happens, it's like the forming of a bad habit, and now everyone will expect it for free. In our industry, things are changing very quickly in the last few decades, and I believe with this pandemic, with COVID-19, it is going to drastically change many aspects of our industry. Now, even before the pandemic, we are already seeing traditional business models and mindsets changing. Whatever we were accustomed to, it's slowly replaced by better ones, better ideas. Like for example, going green. We reacted by not getting the free straws from our purchased drinks. But it took a bit of getting used to. In fact, the kopitiam auntie that I frequent was the one hardest and resistant to change. I remember telling her, "Auntie, one can of cold soya bean with no straw." She gets all confused and will always bring soya bean with no cup, or soya bean that's not cold, or soya bean with a cup but no ice. We just wanted our soya bean drink with no straw. But eventually we all learn, and we see the bigger picture. We need to save our oceans, save marine life, cut down on plastics. The point here is mindsets can change if the mission or challenge is big and noble enough. If we want our work, our design to be of value and not free, then we have to agree that ketchup should not be free. We have to agree that all services or products that were made and designed by people are not free. We have to agree that the little toys that came with your Happy Meal is not free. We have to agree to pay a price for everything that came out of the producer's hands, because their job is just as great and noble as yours and mine. Even the cleaners that we take for granted in the public toilets all showed us their true value during this pandemic. So I come back to the new norm. The argument is never about giving freebies. It's about abusing and taking advantages of other people. If the design firm hires legitimate designers, pay them a decent salary, give them good workstations, an environment to work in, but chooses to incorporate the design fee into other areas and somehow appear free in the contract, to me, that is no difference from what McDonald's does by giving free packets of ketchup, because the cost of ketchup has already been worked into the profits of the packaged meals. The new norm is not really to deal with this aspect of our industry anymore, but to deal with the bigger picture, like how do we design spaces that are healthier, that are green, or how do we deal with errant business owners who plagiarize, who don't invest in properly trained individuals, or who use pirated softwares and couldn't be bothered with their responsibilities. We need to deal with clients who jump at every opportunity to cut costs, and for those who make the mistake of engaging the service providers with the lowest possible fee for their products and services. We need to educate them and illustrate to them why design matters, and that design is not indulgence nor a discretionary item. These are the people, circumstances, and factors in the industry we need to deal with. This is how we protect our industry and our consumers. This is how we can then begin to grow. We feel that things will change right now because we're in some kind of a limbo, and we need the prospect of positive change to make us feel better. And because of this sense of uncertainty, humans tend to seek control in all sorts of situations, even if these are things that are out of our control. An example would be all those people buying toilet paper at the start of our panic hoarding. I wonder why instead of toilet paper, they didn't go to buy up all the toilet bowls instead. That should be quite a sight. But as soon as there is some certainty, and in this case, certainty means the sense that there is a vaccine or cure, things would start to calm down. There may be a rise in spending, something that may mean a pent-up demand for our design services. There will be a surge in purchasing once the economy is back. Whether that becomes a reality remains to be seen. But as a consumer myself, I do feel that people will want to invest in their residences more than ever. The post-COVID client will be more attuned to flaws in their homes after spending such a long time locked up in them. Suddenly, the little annoyances that we've overlooked for years and we put up with will become big things that must be fixed right away. And if done right, consumers will pay a premium to include new features like adding smart technologies, incorporate green elements like biophilia into their spaces. So the new norm may mean more potential in residential businesses, since with telecommuting, businesses are evaluating the necessities of having office spaces and exploring the concepts of redundancies. This new norm will also make designers see past the values of aesthetics as their primary offering. As designers and design professionals, we are accustomed to putting humans and their needs first. Post-COVID, we will see designers adding more value into their work by using what we were taught in the first place: empathy, curiosity, patience, common sense, and problem solving. These are traits and skill sets that are more crucial now more than ever. This pandemic has taught us that it is not just wars and natural catastrophes that will slow us down. We are indeed very fragile. We need to know our systems and our SOPs are never enough. If anything, we now know we know nothing at all. We are not prepared for this kind of economic standstill. The new norm for the design firms would also be to evolve to become more financially mindful practices. We will learn what overhead is truly essential. Can we start to look into shared offices, online conference platforms, digital presentations, and digital sales? Personally, I feel that designers being designers should make use of this period to use our creativity and give back to our own market in the most constructive ways, like developing new patterns, new systems, and new rituals in our work. Start to question what is the new norm in our work ritual. I'm also seeing the rising trend of designers using social media to outreach and to propagate. And I'm just thinking, why do it only now when there is a lockdown? Why didn't you guys thought of doing it pre-COVID? The truth is, whether we had COVID or not, web presence should have been something that is part of your business strategy in this day and age. And in true honesty, don't expect this sudden web presence and exposure to make a difference and impact immediately. Google yourself and perform a self-audit to understand your own brand health and know how much more work you need to do to get exposed. The good news is that using the platforms is becoming the new norm, but just be mindful of your content, outreach, and the choice of platforms. Not everyone who gave you a like translates to a lead. If there is any advice I can give now to fellow designers, think of giving and sharing now and be selfless instead of expecting a return immediately. It makes more sense to the industry and to the community that we can know you for what you can share than to know you for what you can sell. You can consider making videos, as this will be valuable resources for your own portfolio and growth. Consider collaborations with brands to create meaningful content for your followers. Show our followers how we can stay strong and united as a community and as an industry. Since this COVID-19, I had taken to learning new skills, and these new skills had brought me new opportunities. It made me realize that the new norm is constantly evolving, and I need to continuously grow and evolve with it. We all need to rediscover ourselves and our voice. Make use of this period to think and rethink. It is only the beginning, and we can all rise up stronger from this. Thank you so much in supporting me during my WFH period. And now that I'm back to work, this show is going to be rebranded as the BTW Back to Work Show. I look forward to your continued support and hope to see you guys again next week as we discuss more about design matters. Thank you, stay safe, and goodbye.